Ooh, that gives me the chills. That was Haunted Mansion by Summerhill Cinema 700 here on YouTube. He just published that particular little spooky tune he made yesterday on YouTube, and I thought he probably wouldn't mind if I used it, and if he does mind, oh well, I can't imagine he's going to mind that I use that to intro the show. Once again, Haunted Mansion, original song by Summerhill Cinema 700, can be found on Summerhill Cinema 700 channel on YouTube. I don't know how it worked because I just played it on a speaker into the microphone, so I don't know how it sounded. Apologies, Summerhill, if it sounded like, what do the French say? Garbage. Looks like we got Iron Rooster. He says, "How are you? That was a cool tune." Yeah, I see that you already heard it, possibly last night on his channel. I can't imagine he'll be mad that I used it. Can you? How did it sound? You probably just caught the last. Did you catch any of it on this show? I did a test and it was too loud, so the second one I turned it down a little bit. It's hard to tell. Let me just do some stuff here. I was lollygagging too much, and it's kind of late start, but I managed to just barely get everything done and set up by noon. Let me just get this stuff that I played his tune with taken care of. Rooster says it sounded good. Okay, yeah, I did a test moments before the show started where it was too loud. Then I turned it down, and I just hoped for the best because I had the little speaker right next to the show mic. You know, I might have to use that to just intro the show with every week. That was kind of fun. It's a really cool kind of a spooky tune. What better tune to intro the show with? We'll see how he feels about it. So, huge movie fanatic Nate, huge movie fanatics radio reporting on May 13th, 2021 already. Actually, the weather's actually finally freaking improving this week, and I already got my biking done for the week, so I don't have to feel like I gotta, get the hell out there. Like, I got that done. I actually did 2 days in a row, so I've got my biking needs met for the week. Rooster says he probably won't mind, more exposure for him. Yeah, one can only assume he won't mind. So once again, just like last week, starting the show at high noon Central Time, where I am, just because warmer months will start sooner to end sooner and get outside. Even though I probably won't bike today, I'm still gonna get outside today after the show. Rooster says it's 72 and sunny here. He's in, for anyone who doesn't know, he's in Mississippi. Yeah, we're gonna probably come close to where you are temperature-wise today, so that'll be nice. When I started the show, I think still right now it's like nothing but sun out there, so it's been a really, really, really cool, like the air has just been freezing this spring. So hopefully that'll improve as the days and weeks go on. Yeah, it looks like, Rooster says the same thing. Unusually cool for here as well. Yeah, I can only assume 72 and like close to mid-May would be cold for Mississippi. So what did you think of Doom Asylum? Just had to get a drink. Rooster says didn't watch it. Ha 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 ha. All right. Well, you get an F. F for your homework, weekend homework assignment. Let's see if anyone else shows up today. It's pretty nice out. So if I don't know, if I ever do a show that's like really low turnout, I don't know. Well, like I say, I haven't said it for a while, but the whole show during the warmer weather months is a week to week situation. Like if it gets to the point where no one's showing up, maybe I'll shorten the show or something. I feel like I could at least do like, an hour a week or something, but looks like possibly someone else showed up. Looks like Gary Page from across the pond is here. Welcome. Rooster says, watched a movie called Honeymoon Horror from 1982 on YouTube. Ever heard of it? No, I haven't. How was it? Gary Page says, hi, Nate. Hi, Iron Rooster. Rooster says, yeah, play it week to week. That's what I'm going to do, because I don't expect people to come and show up in a chat room during the summer. And if they don't, maybe I'll make the shows not every, I don't know. Like we say, week to week. Rooster says, hi, Gary. So for anyone who doesn't know, Iron Rooster is a proud owner of, I think, the Arrow Video Blu-ray of Doom Asylum, which, if I'm understanding correctly, is not opened, or if it is opened, it's never been watched. And Beth and I, weeks ago, streamed the Arrow Video scan of Doom Asylum on Tubi. Both time seeing it for Beth and I. And we're of the opinion it's one of the, if not the worst movie we've ever seen. So curious to know what Rooster thinks about it, but maybe I never will. Rooster says in regards to Honeymoon Horror, it's kind of a low budget slasher. It was actually okay. Quality wasn't that great on YouTube. Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of times I like the lower the budget, I almost like it more, but horror movies more because they're more quaint and stuff. Don't Go in the Woods comes to mind, and Boogeyman from the early 80s, and Evil Dead. I mean, the original, of course, not the remake. Things are bad when they remake Evil Dead, and when Rob Zombie remakes Halloween. That times are bad. That should have been a sign to all of us what was to come. Of course, I burp every week, but I might be even more burpy now because I had half a frozen pizza for breakfast and a Coca-Cola. I mean, hate to advertise for Coke, and it's one of my only real vice. I try not to drink too many of them. I'm guilty of being we'll just say soda pop drinker. Gary Page says it can't be worse than Don't Open Till Christmas. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of that. I'm pretty sure I reviewed it on my channel. It's got some funny bits, but that one's not too terribly wonderful. Rooster says, downtime for horror. Ha ha. Rooster says, dude, I ate pizza and drank Coke too. Holy shit, ha ha. Yeah, I had half of a frozen pizza for dinner, and I had the other half this morning for breakfast. So I think my food pyramid is complete. Well, this is one thing that's cool about doing these early shows. Gary Page is able to join us, and so is C-Snap and or Will Powell if they wanted to. But they don't want to, apparently. Yeah, what do we want to 11 minutes in, kind of slow. What do we want to talk about? Let's see here. Beth and I watched Mortal Kombat Annihilation, both times seeing it for the both of us, or first time seeing it for the both of us last weekend. We both didn't like it very much. It almost seemed like baby Mortal Kombat. Just, I don't know, it just seemed infantile somehow. And there were the characters being replaced, like the hot blonde from the first one, and Christopher Lambert as that one silver-haired dude is, that was a part of it, but I think it was just crap anyway. So I watched the Blu-ray I got of. I'll do a proper review, but I watched the Blu-ray I got of Cut and Run, and I realized why it was in the cart for almost a year, and why I didn't buy it. I probably shouldn't have bought it, but that's okay. If it ever goes out of print, I'll have it. The unrated version, unfortunately, was in fact the standard definition inserts and the gore footage. And I must say that, like, a lot of times the gore stuff is for us horror fans is better. We just as soon have the extra gore on unrated footage. But for Cut and Run, I almost found the unrated gore stuff to be distasteful. I know someone informed me last week that it's the guy who directed, was it Cannibal Holocaust? I've never seen that. I don't know if that's the correct movie or not. But yeah, I found most of the unrated gore to be just almost, it's probably just me getting on in years, but just so distasteful, kind of where you don't even want to necessarily see it. So it's probably the only time I'll watch the extended or the unrated version of Cut and Run, because it's like, God, who the hell even wants to see this stuff? Because it's almost like too realistic, and it's not fun. Rooster says, yeah, I need to cut the Coke out since they went woke. Well, we should really stop support. Everyone should really stop supporting all corporations if we really wanted to be serious. But that's another topic. Gary Page says, I think the beast from, I don't know how to pronounce this, Bodmin Moore has will. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, you think some beast? Is that a UK beast? Because I'm not familiar with it, but some beast has Will Powell. It could be. Rooster says some more will probably show in a bit. Rooster says, I've never watched Cannibal Holocaust either. Have I? The only Holocaust movie I've seen is, I think it's called Zombie Holocaust, aka Dr. Butcher MD. Is it Zombie Holocaust? I want to say it is. Whatever other title Dr. Butcher MD has, that one's fun. But I'm not big on like the tasteless kind of gore. That was what was the unrated footage in Cut and Run. It was just too realistic and not fun kind of gore. All right, about 15 minutes in, and we're really, 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 really slow. Really slow show. Gary Page says, it's a big black cat near Cornwall where Will lives. Oh, okay. It's very possible that cat has got him. Rooster says, yeah, some gore is too much. Yeah, I might even say some of the gore in whatever it's called, Dr. Butcher MD, aka possibly Zombie Holocaust, might even be too much. Some of that Italian gore just goes to a level that's just like, yeah, maybe this isn't entertainment. Oh, Rooster says, I watched American Ninja for the first time this weekend. I have to say, was pretty cool flick. Yeah, I'm biased because I grew up with it, but Willie, the guy from that, what's it called? Unknown Critics video, which I just did a trailer for, because I don't know if a lot of people that have, that are new to the channel probably don't even know that that's up, and I thought they might enjoy it. So I did a trailer pointing more recent, people that have found the channel more recently to that video. So Willie introduced me to American Ninja, and I'm forever grateful to Willie for doing so. And probably, he and I would watch it on repeat, and then I've said before, then we'd play Legend of Cage on NES, and then switch in American Ninja, make us want to play Legend of Cage, and Legend of Cage would make us want to watch American Ninja, and then we'd chew gumballs. Good times. But yeah, I grew up with American Ninja. I'm a big fan of it. I really should have the Blu-ray of it, but the MGM DVD is so good that I never bothered with the Blu-ray. If I buy the cut and run Blu-ray, I should definitely buy the American Ninja Blu-ray, because American Ninja is a lot better than cut and run. Gary says Cannibal Holocaust was the first lost footage movie from 1979. I don't know what you mean by lost footage. Oh, you mean found footage? Was it a found footage movie? Rooster says, yeah, maybe a good idea to make trailers like that to old videos so they get exposure. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's why I did it. I'm like, some people like seeing 12-year-old Nate and the very end of my showcasing of the VHS and Nightmare on Elm Street 4. So these people probably don't know that there's a 30-minute video of a 12-year-old Nate and a buddy reviewing movies. So I thought I'd make a trailer and make it be known. Because I think I put that up, 2018 or something. That's a while ago. Well, I can only assume that the weather is improving elsewhere in the country, because very slow or very low turnout, which is understandable. I mean, where I am, it's absolutely beautiful out, so it's not like I really want people to sit inside in their computer and listen to a radio thing on a nice day anyway. What would you guys say to just if it's just us three, me just going an hour today? How would you guys feel about that? Or 90 minutes or something? Gary says, yeah, 20 years before Blair Witch. Huh. I always thought Blair Witch was the first found footage movie. Rooster says, don't you have one where you are a little older reviewing movies? Yeah, there's other ones I could probably make trailers for as well. There's one of me and my buddy Keith from '92. It's a sleepover, outdoor sleepover in the tent with my dad, brings us pizza. It's not as official as like Unknown Critics, but it's like, I don't know what that's called, if it's pizza and movie talk maybe. But we're talking about movies that, and the upcoming Hellraiser 3 release and things. I think it's pizza and movie talk. And then, oh yeah, and then '93, there's an hour-long one with me and Keith where it's called The Critics. Probably if you typed The Critics 1993, that one would come up. And if you typed like movie talk, pizza and movie talk 1992, I'm sure the other video would come up. Then there's also one from 2002, which is just audio of me and Keith talking about we're at a campfire, just talking about this or that, whatever. So there's some of that stuff on here. Rooster says, I'm actually sitting outside. Yeah, whatever you're comfortable with, as far as the length is fine with me. Went from Unknown Critics to Critics. Yeah, well, we had a better camera or more light in '92 and '93, so we could be known. Well, it was Keith versus Willie, but well, we realized in '89 that if we aimed the PXL 2000, see the couch was right there in front of the window, and if I think ideally we wanted to sit on the couch and be seen, but the way the camera did it, obviously you've got the outdoor daytime out the window, so the camera's gonna automatically do exposure for daytime, so we're just like silhouettes. And I think Willie came up with the idea of the title, Unknown Critics. We can be, this could be kind of a cool thing, Unknown Critics. I might have to, I think Willie very, very well may have came up with that title. So it was just kind of worked out. I mean, I think ideally we wanted to be able to see us, but with that Fisher Price video camera and just the way we set it up where we're aiming it at us sitting on the couch in front of the window during the day, it's not going to work unless you just flooded us with light. But Unknown Critics worked out. Yeah, Keith and I are known in the videos we do. So Keith and I were just the critics. And Gary says maybe do your show later now the weather is getting better. Yeah, but then you wouldn't be able to join in live though. I don't know what the answer is. Maybe just an hour or 90-minute show during warm weather. I mean, I feel like I should be able to show up once a week. And if no one if very few people show up, it can just be not as long of a show, I guess. I don't know. I think there will be weeks where I skip, like if it's a boating day or something that takes up the whole day. Rooster says it's cool that those videos got saved because most stuff like that gets lost over the years. Yeah, that's for sure. A lot of people have said that in comments over the years that, they had this video, they had that video, but it's gone. It's just like, oh my God. I am very grateful that a lot of that stuff was saved. Rooster says, do you still have the camera? I don't have that one. That one ended up crapping out in 1990, and then I got another one. I still have that one. I should actually do a video showcasing it because my dad because of the stupid way that thing was made, my dad actually made like a tripod mount for it, a homemade, DIY tripod mount. So I've got the second PXL 2000 camera. Years and years ago, I actually plugged it in and tried it and turned it on, and I think it worked. So I should probably showcase the camera. And the cool thing is the tripod mount my dad made, because it came with what they called a bipod. You can see it in the Unknown Critics trailer, in the official, photo for the camera, where you clip it on the bottom and you can just stand the camera up. They call it a bipod, but that just wasn't going to cut it because you didn't always have a flat surface. I mean, ideally you'd want to be able to put it on a tripod. So my dad made a makeshift thing that screws onto a tripod that the PXL 2000 camera sits in. It's just like really cool. Why don't we tentatively just plan on maybe ending the show an hour in if no one shows up? We'll just see how things are. Bruce just says, okay, cool. And don't worry, everyone, all two people listening, the drive-in clips are on their way. And Gary says, okay, Nate. Brewster says, do you ever buy anything from the halfway to Black Friday sale from Vinegar Syndrome? I don't really like, I don't know. I don't do a lot of, no, I don't. I don't do a lot of buying. I hate to say that most of my online buying is from that company that really took over last year. There's a river. I think there's a river named after this company, or the company is named after the river. That's where I hate to say I do the majority of the online buying. I don't like paying for shipping. I know that if you know, buy enough stuff with like the companies and stuff selling on their own site that you get free shipping, but then I feel like, oh, then I gotta find, of course, I guess I kind of do that on that other site too, buying, $25 worth to get free shipping. But I don't generally buy from, the actual sites like, Shout Factory, Vinegar Syndrome, like their actual sites. Because I don't keep up on their sales and all this kind of stuff. It's just too confusing to me to have like all these accounts at all these different sites and stuff. Rooster says, yes, I'll be checking those drive-in clips out. Yeah, they're very short, so they don't take a lot of people's time. Looks like Matt's here. If you got a different photo, is that a different photo? He says, well, we won't need our cars soon. Laugh out loud. Yeah, it's looking that way. Well, we've already paid in '08. We've already paid in Minnesota. We've already had $4 gas. So I guess if it goes back up to that, it's not like it'll be the first time. I'd really hate to pay over $4 a gallon. But whatever they got planned is whatever they got planned, I guess. Gary says Arrow video prices are creeping up recently. Yeah, I guess they're realizing just how popular those releases are. It's a bummer. I try not to get stuff unless if it's like pushing $30, unless I'm really crazy about it. Like the King Kong Scream Shout Factory release, it's like I don't really want to pay $28 for it. Matt says, yeah, I filled up the Miata late last night. Laugh out loud. Well, the great thing about Miata is at least in mine, the gas tank's not very big. I used to fill it up in the early 2000s for $10. And then it gets, the mileage it gets is crazy. So that helps. We've got the right vehicle for this time, this era we're heading into. Matt says, I was like, shit, might be the last $3 gas I'll buy. Yeah, I was worried about that in '08 when it was $4. Gladly or luckily it came down. I was like, okay, is this, the lowest it's going to be from here on out? But we were lucky that it came down again. Matt says, gotta keep up with inflation. He says, yeah, when I first got the car, I calculated I got 28 miles per gallon average out. Yeah, the Miata's really nice on gas, ain't it? There's a lot of pluses to Mazda Miata, everyone. Wow, I'm seeing 6 people, probably 5 including me. But now 5, probably 4 including me. Rooster says, my mother and father are on vacation this week in North Carolina, and they were telling me that every gas station is out of gas up there. I guess from that pipeline situation going on. I was wondering how they were going to get everyone on electric cars. Maybe this is it. $20 a gallon gas. How great would it be to get everyone on electric cars and then cut the power on the country? It's so funny how we thought last year was bad. It's just the overture, people. Matt says, yeah, if you look at the map, a lot of red states are getting hit hard with the gas situation. Nothing to see here, folks. Move along. $20 gas, or how about just no gas? Yeah, well, no gas would be even worse, I guess. It's kind of like how, from what I'm hearing, I'm not a gun person myself, but from what I'm hearing, it's hard to get ammunition these days. So it's like we don't have to ban guns if people can't. We just ban ammunition. So the same thing, kind of like with vehicles. Vehicles need something very important to run. If we stop supplying it, then they can't use those vehicles. Matt says, yep, then every idiot buys a stupid ass electric car and they cut the power because those power outages are coming next. Yeah, that thing on whatchamacallit was just the beginning. That, what was it? The Texas Valentine's Day freeze. That was just the warm up. Kind of the wrong words, but a warm up. It was a very chilly warm up. Matt says, let's see here. I also saw a moron at the gas station last night charging his overpriced shit Tesla, and I just laughed like, what a nice luxury to have to wait how long to charge your $50,000 car. Yeah, I have a feeling that it's very possible within the next 10 years, all of, maybe even 5, or maybe within the next year, all the gas vehicles will be worthless. Either they'll stop selling gas or they're going to outlaw gas vehicles. I'd say possibly within the next 5 years. There's going to be a lot of changes. Matt says, yeah, those idiots that thought 21 was going to be better than 20 was laughable. How naive and ignorant they were. Well, I'd say are, yeah. Oh, I just want to get through 2020. And, anyone who was celebrating New Year's Eve on January 31st, 2020 was just like, yeah, I think we can stop celebrating New Year's Eve now because every year is going to be worse than the last. Rooster says, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Rooster says, scary, not interesting. Ha ha. Yeah, I think scary is a better word. Matt says, I kept laughing because these morons haven't seen the economic effects of their fun time lockdown, not to mention all the other shit they're going to pull on top of the economy and inflation already. Yep. Welcome to the depressing show, the depressing radio show, where if you're feeling too good, we can take care of that for you. Tune in every week and listen to the depressing radio show. Matt says, can you imagine spending like 30 grand on a new car and they just go, nah, no gas for you now? Yeah, and then I don't know what, I can only assume the value of gas-powered vehicles would drop pretty exponentially. I was going to say, well, then you could sell it, but what would it be worth? A fraction of what you paid. I mean, guess we'll find out. Matt says then they are pushing electric because of how impractical it is. It's a feature that you have to wait 8 hours to charge it, and it'll be a royal pain in the ass to drive long distance with one. And like I say, I mean, anyone who knows anything about what's coming knows that the power is going to go out for, I don't know, probably, it's hard to say how long, but they're going to cut the power probably to the whole country or world at some point. There was that, there was something in that more recent Blade Runner movie about that. Like, I don't remember what they call it, the blackout or something like that. I don't remember if they mentioned how long it lasted in the movie, but Matt says, I don't think it would be a good idea if they did a blackout. Well, I don't think it'd be fun for us. I mean, it'd be a way to, like, you turn out the power on everyone and it's just like, oh my God. Kind of like those movies that I refuse to watch, those uh the ones where the killing is legal or whatever. Rooster says the idea of a world blackout is pretty damn scary. That's why even last year I'm like, I tried to tell people I know and stuff, just like, try to enjoy, believe, as hard as it is, try to enjoy. Things could be a lot worse. Try to enjoy what you've got while you've got it. That's my philosophy. Rooster says The Purge. Yeah, the Purge movies. That's just predictive programming for what's in the works. Matt says will be a lot worse. You didn't tell them the truth. They will be a lot worse. That's a nice thought. Gary Page says, sounds like a nightmare world. Blackout for fuck's sake. What's so pathetic is, in this computerized era, I mean, it's like they can just say, nothing even has to happen. All they have to do is say, just like they did this past or last week or whenever the fuck it was. They can say any time at the drop of a hat that, oh, this thing has been attacked by a whatchamacallit. I don't even know what it's called. Cyber attack. It's just like, how many decades were oil pipelines? They made. I mean, oil pipelines. How long have they existed? Since the late 1800s, early 1900s. Like, it was something that was possible without computers. Who says we had to connect the internet to the fucking oil pipeline? What sense does that even make? Rooster says Ethan Hawke was in the first purge, which was probably the best one. Matt says they already mentioned a cyber thing is going to happen. Well, yeah, they simulate everything before they do it. Matt says I saw some videos about that on their blah 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 blah. Gary says, "Can I still run a Blu-ray player using a car battery?" Then laugh out loud. I know that's what scares me about all of us, including me, who are just like basically their life's blood is frickin' Blu-ray watching and shit, you know. But I think, you know, what's going to happen when we can't watch Blu-rays? I mean, I think, you know, we a lot of our lives were irrevocably changed last year, and I can't speak for anyone else, but I kind of, I mean, you just adjust, you know. If it comes a time where no more Blu-ray watching, well, then I'll do more, you know, hunting and growing food and chopping wood. I mean, it's just, you know, I guess if there's one thing to say about humanity is I guess we're adaptable or whatever. So, I mean, it might be a day no more Blu-ray watching. It almost be kind of a a nice change of pace to have no more internet, though, to be perfectly honest. Matt says they were priming you for a blah 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 blah. If you want to know what he says, look at the chat. Matt says, and it should be something easy to overrun since it's just a stupid ass pipe to mechanically do it. That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, so everything that we used to do just without computers now is computerized. So now they can say because it's computerized, it's it's hackable. It's like, well, maybe if something was hackable, you shouldn't have made it computerized. It's just such a crock of shit. Rooster says, I feel sorry for my parents being on vacation because they're scared to go anywhere because of gas. Yeah, I've never understood vacations personally, but especially during, you know, unsure times, but I guess it's their it's their choice. Austin's here, he says this stream is a bit early today. Yeah, see what you want to do is check out, you know, the about page usually by late oh, that's why people didn't show up probably by late Wednesday night, and you'll see the start time. I've been thinking of starting them, or I've been starting them at noon recently, and I can only assume if anyone subscribed when I do my scheduling of the show, they'd get a message about it. But during the warm months, I might be starting at noon. I might just be starting at noon in general moving forward. I don't know. It's a week to week thing, but keep an eye on the about page Wednesday evening or early Thursday to see when the show's going to start every week. Gary Page says, as long as I don't get disc rot, yeah, life will be fine. Matt says, we live in a third world country. I better read Matt's comments before I start reading them. Matt says, I told my dumb parents, oh, that's how you think about your parents? To get used to power outages and all sorts of shit as the blah, 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 because that's what life is like in a lot of third world countries with shit infrastructure and no resources. Austin says there's way too many Blu-ray players out there for no more Blu-ray watching. Laugh out loud. Problem is, yeah, you need power though to watch Blu-rays, and if they cut that on us, we're screwed unless you got a solar panel. But then if they spray the shit to cover this, I think, yeah, there's no way to win. Matt says, yeah, notice no gas this summer. Pool liners are gone. Chlorine is hard to get. List goes on. All items to have a fun summer were taken from you before summer began. Rooster says, yeah, they're old, so don't look at things like we do. Matt says, wind power, baby. Yeah, but if, they control the weather too, so they can probably make it so there's no wind. They can make it so there's no sun. They can make it so there's no wind. I mean, Jesus. You have to get your whole neighborhood on you have to have shifts where you have a whole bank of stationary bikes that pedal to make energy. That could be your 9 to 5 shift, just pedaling all day. You'd have a lot of, I think obesity is going to drop considerably when people have to, start working more to survive. There you go. Matt says you can also get a few horses to just walk around powering a generator. Bring back animal power to generate your power, or all these worthless dogs that everyone has in the burbs. Just put some kind of wheels behind them with, that spin and generate power. Just let them loose and run around, and they can go on their own walks and generate power. Matt says something had to be done about obesity. Yeah, I think it's coming. It's called growing your own food and not having abundant, plentiful food and sitting on shelves anymore, and having to either grow or hunt for your food. I don't know. I mean, I think that if they want people to die, people are going to die. There's just going to be no avenues to survive. But who the hell wants to survive? That's another question. Boy, what a fun show. Matt says, oh yeah, the dumbass dogs. You are right. Let those barking dogs actually do work for once. Yeah, just put them on just power generating treadmills all day. Oh, okay. Well, I've got an answer to counter Austin's point, which is a good point generally. Austin says for power, just stock up on generators. But guess what generators run on? If they're no longer selling gas, that's going to be a problem. But that's a good point until you realize that the gas might be done with. Yeah, there's really no solution. I mean, it's too bad that mankind was ever hijacked to begin with, because, we were surviving. Mankind was surviving. It's like if you just think of the Native Americans. I mean, life without electricity and gas powered shit and all this stuff, I mean, it's possible. And what happened over the years is we were hijacked, and generation over generation, got all these, whatever, these things that made life easy, electricity, cars, this, that. But the problem with that stuff was we became, humanity became dependent on these companies that provided these things. Like electricity, we're dependent on the power company. Cars, we're dependent on the car dealers and mechanics, and we're dependent on the gasoline companies. People don't realize how dependent we are. And that's the problem. They get mankind overly dependent on everything, and they're not self-sufficient. And then all of a sudden you pull the rug out from everyone, you know, you stop supplying gas, you stop supplying power, you stop supplying all this stuff that, for the last 100 years was needed to operate our cushy way of life. And then we've got just mass extinction, mass, die off. And what communities aren't going to be affected are the Amish ones. Everyone making fun of the Amish people, they're not even going to be touched. And to be perfectly honest, I don't know, say what you will about their outfits, but I mean, that's living. I'm just glad I'm as old as I am, and I feel like I've done pretty much everything that there is to do in life anyway, and I'm just glad that this happened when I was relatively, lived the most of my life. My life's over anyway. Everything else is just bonus level. Gary says on YouTube there's a video of the woman with a dossier from NASA saying the government is making people eat bad food and get fat and ill. The rich will have their intelligence put into cyborgs. Yeah, that's possible. I mean, anything really is. Matt says you have to have a power source that only you can control. Yeah, mankind has gone from self-reliant to depending on so many external sources. Because the weather's been warmer and stuff, I've been obviously outside more and just sitting out in the sun and just watching the birds fly around and just, it's like they're completely, I mean, their lives are perfect. They're completely self-sufficient. They just automatically know everything they need to know automatically. They don't spend the first, I don't know what, big huge percentage of their life in some worthless fucking building learning bullshit. I mean, animals are the way, if you look at animals out in nature, like wild animals, that's the way that mankind is supposed to live. Where your job every day is to not go to some 9 to 5 fucking office and work for 5% of, get 5% of what back of what you're due daily that you can use. You're supposed to wake up and just like spend all day on the field that you're growing your food, so 100% of your effort for the day comes back to you. And it's just such a bummer that mankind's been hijacked, and now we're just at the very beginning of starting to pay the price. Matt says the Amish are doing just fine. Yeah, one can only assume. And then he says the Amish are fine. Matt says we are all acting like it's the end of the world, but we still have Amish people completely fine. Laugh out loud. Gary says we became lazy. Yeah, it was a very, very slow generational thing, generation to generation. Matt says, at Gary, I didn't become lazy, but most people did. Yeah. Matt says, shit, I'd rather wear those dumb outfits they have than you know what over the you know what. Rooster says, I'm glad I know how to hunt. Big smile. Rooster says, I won't go hungry at least. I guess my question would be, what do you hunt with? Because if you hunt with bullets, if you can't get those anymore, that might be a problem. If you hunt with bow and arrow and you can make your own arrows, you should be fine. Gary says, look at life now. Everything can be done using your phone. That's exactly it. And I've always thought, even before everything turned to shit, that it's like, okay, you've got these kids are growing up on these phones. No one knows how to do anything themselves. They look at how to do everything online. So when they cut the power and the phones are no longer usable, you've got a generation of people who don't know how to do fucking anything. And I think that's completely the plan. Because why retain information when you can always get information from that fucking slab in your back pocket? Matt says us humans would know exactly what we need to do like birds. We were taken as basically slaves from a young age to fuck our time and condition us. We would know valuable skills from a young age and what to do. Yeah, the way human life should be is you grow up, you're a kid and you grow up on the farm with and you're, instead of going to school every day, your dad shows you every day what to do on the farm. I mean, shit, but by the time a kid's 10 or even sooner than that, in a perfect world, he'd pretty much know how to do everything that needs to be done to survive on the farm. It's really a shame how they hijacked humanity. And it's like we never really even had a choice. I mean, it just happened so slowly that over the generations, people didn't really know what was happening because the erosion of the way it should be was eroded so slowly. Boy, talk about a serious show. I like to think what we're talking about isn't that dangerous. I'm trying not to say certain things out loud, but we should be able to talk about these things. We're not really talking about anything specific. Did I already read Matt's? We would know valuable skills from a young age and what to do, probably. Gary says some people do go off the grid, but it takes a lot of planning to do. Yeah, the biggest problem is food, I guess. I mean, you know, being able to grow or hunt for food and stop going to the store. The biggest hurdle is food, I would say. Oh, okay. Well, sounds like Rooster's said. He says, as far as ammo, I have enough to last for years. Okay, well, sounds like you're all set. Matt says, yep, once he's like 10, then he could move on to a more advanced skills and learn beyond the basic farm stuff. I mean, that's what life should be, is just working for yourself, working for your family, working for your, you know, I mean, in the old days, I can only assume there would have been much more community in this smaller town. People didn't really venture outside the town. There's really no need to if everything is self-contained in the town, you know, growing food and, it's like your daily job, as I said, is just looking over the food production, the food growing, the this and that, and that's life. None of this put 100%, 110% of your efforts in and getting like 10% or 5% back. If that, I mean, that's probably even a high percentage. All right, everyone, about an hour into the show. I don't know how much longer I want to. I don't know if I'm going to go another hour. Poor, I think we're too serious for Austin. Whoops, I don't think he said anything after I countered his generator. I appreciated the whatchamacallit, the idea of stocking up on generators, but unfortunately those need gas to run. Yeah, if they want us dead, we're dead. I mean, but like I say, do we want to live anyway? Oh, I just feel so bad for the kids, the teenagers that lives are going to be completely ruined. The first 15, 16, 17, 18 years of their life was something that was normal, and now they have to go through this horrible transition at such a young age. Matt says life is going to get very serious very fast, so people can't bury their heads in the sand ignoring reality anymore. That's for goddamn sure. Rooster says we went down the rabbit hole for a minute. Ha ha ha. Yeah, it was one of those chat lulls. Matt says the time for overly positive thinking and ignoring the dark of our reality is over. If people paid attention to the dark shit years prior and did something about it, we wouldn't be in this mess. That's exactly true. Yeah, last year I think I got some dental work done, and the dentist guy was all talking about. I don't know if he knew a prepper or was aware of preppers, but he was like talking down the idea of prepping, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I couldn't say anything. I would have said something if my mouth wasn't wide open at the time. I couldn't say anything in response, but I remember just laying there with my mouth wide open, thinking this guy is gonna have a wake up call real soon. And then he said some dumb shit, and this was last year I was at the dentist's office. He said something about, yeah, it'll be nice when this what is over. Hopefully it's over next year. And I was once again my mouth was open and full of shit, but not actual shit. I mean dental stuff was going on. And I really wished it wasn't, because I would have filled him in on reality. Like, yeah, this is things aren't going to go back to normal ever again. But he'll find out. I don't have to say it. He'll find out. But I think we've got a little bit of the upper hand, knowing the reality of the situation in regards to just being prepared for things to get just worse and worse and worse. I guess that's somewhat of an advantage, whereas other people that are still doing their soccer games and baseball games with their kids' high school teams and all this shit and stuff, people who are just oblivious, it's going to be like a big shock. Rooster says it's okay to be prepared. You don't have to be a nut. Yeah, I know. The dentist was like, I don't know, he's just kind of down talking the idea of prepping, and it's gonna be like, yeah, well, he's gonna wish he was doing it himself soon. Matt says that arrogant asshole was talking shit on preppers in 2020. I could maybe see that like 20 years ago, but in 2020 he had the audacity. Yeah, he needs a reality check bad. Yeah, well, he's a dentist and he's had it good for a long time, and that's gonna end soon. That's the one thing that that I feel kind of good about, like, when everything hits the fan, it's like all these fuckers that I, grew up with in high school, and all these fuckers that I had to deal with at, my slave jobs, and all these fuckers that I always hated. It's like, unfortunately, it's not by my hand, but these fuckers are going down with the rest of us. So that's kind of a satisfying feeling. And Matt says dentists are scum of the earth. Yeah, I agree. Rooster says he thinks paper is going to save him. Ha ha. Matt says most just fuck your teeth up and charge you thousands. They are criminal, a lot of them. Arrogant, know-it-all fucks who think they are way smarter than they are. I know I can't stand the place. Matt says, wow, you pull teeth for a living and fill tooth holes. Get over yourself. It's not rocket science. Matt says at Iron Rooster, I guess he'll have some paper to burn when he gets cold. That's another thing. I mean, people in the colder climates, I mean, if they pull the power on us, I mean, how many people have wood burning stoves? A small percentage of people. I mean, it's so crazy what they did in Texas in February. Like, one would think people in Texas wouldn't have to worry about freezing cold. And it's like, oh my God. They showed that it's like, it doesn't even matter where you are. Like, oh. Rooster says, got a point, Matthew. Laugh out loud. Matt says, would have been way cheaper to just buy regular paper or get actual wood to burn, but hey, he wasn't some nut job prepper or anything, so he went after that cash like a good boy. Laughing my ass off. Yep, a little bit of a serious show this week, everyone. But as I said, we're kind of just talking about broad stuff, so it shouldn't be an issue, I would think. And I guess if it is, oh well. Matt says, you will be fine. Well, yeah, I mean, it also helps that none of these radio shows are even up to 100 views yet, so we're not a big threat if no one listens, I guess. Matt says, you can still talk about survival. That hasn't been banned yet. Once they ban discussion on how to survive, then you know you're fucked. Yeah, there you go. That's a good point. Once survival is hate speech, you know you're fucked. Oh my God. Rooster says we can always go back to talking about tits and Friday 13th if we get in trouble. Ha ha ha. Yeah, and consumerism with Blu-ray purchases. Just for the record, everything that we're talking about, or everything that I'm talking about on any of these radio shows that addresses quote unquote serious stuff is just conspiracy nonsense. Did I read this yet? Matt says, no misinformation on solar panels. Oh my God, they're spreading misinformation on how solar panels work. Rooster says, good idea. Run that disclaimer, laugh out loud. Yeah, I could say that like every 15 minutes. The conversation contained herein is all fictitious. It's all the lunatic ravings of psychotic individuals and are not meant to be taken seriously. Matt says, once we get our Soylent Green, then talking about real food will be misinformation. No real food is no wait, no real food is not healthy for you. That's misinformation. Blech. Yeah, this might be the all-around serious, most serious show. We did it a lot. We did it back in February as well, but well, that's true. Matt says, "Got to laugh about it." He says, "I don't know if he meant to write tit, but that's okay. Gets our minds off the serious stuff for a while." Which reminds me, I've just since the weather's warmed up, I've just, I generally save the Friday the 13th marathon for the warm weather months, and been kind of doing them a lot the past week. Just did 6. Obviously I start at 1 and go all the way up to 7. Just did 6 last night, and watching these movies again just reminds me why the hell I love the franchise so much. It's just so fun. They're just so fun. Rister says, is Austin still here? Was wondering what he's watched lately. Yeah, I guess my comment about, I don't know if I pissed him off or what. The last thing he said was, for power, just stock up on generators. And I kind of countered with my answer to that. Well, you need gas to run those. And I don't know if I pissed him off. Hope not. Just trying to offer my advice. Austin, if you're here, we're interested in what you've watched lately. Matt says, do you like sailing? I've only been once when I was a kid with my dad and his friend. I mean, and I don't, that's the only time I don't do it myself, but I mean, I love being on the water in any way. But I mean, if someone wanted to take me sailing, I'd definitely say yes, but I don't have the opportunity to do it at all as things are. I mean, kayaking is my forte. I like kayaking. Oh, Matt says, I want to build a sailboat. I love sailing. Well, that's great. And your days of building stuff might be, well, I won't be negative. That's great. I hope you can. Yeah, that would be something to do, is just to stock up a freaking sailboat, an ocean. Well, it'd have to be quite the boat, I guess, but an ocean worthy boat, to stock it with food and get the fuck out on the water and get away from everything. And I guess you've got the potential of severe weather. I mean, there's like no way to escape, the hell. You're pretty much, but I can, sailing. I can imagine sailing is amazing, and I'd be open to doing it if someone let me do it. I don't exactly have a boat. Matt says, I can build a sailboat. I have a saw. They can't stop me from building old tech like sailboats, laugh out loud. Okay. Matt says, it's the fucking Truman Show. Well, I hope you can build your sailboat then. Matt says, you get your big ass sailboat and they start up the worst hurricane while you're out there. That's the possibility, though. That's the problem. It's like you really can't escape their tyranny anywhere. I'm seeing a hitchhiker. Thank you very much. All right. Well, we went this long. We might as well go another 44 minutes to make it the old 2 hour show. Sorry to people that wanted to talk movies. Sorry, I don't know if Austin is pissed or what. Just trying to give him some info. It's not my intention to piss anyone off at the show. Gary says, Nate, is Friday the 13th, 1980 still popular with younger people, or do they think it's lame and boring? I can only assume they think it's lame and boring. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a no-brainer. I don't know if you're talking about, yeah, I mean, even if you're talking about teenagers, 20-somethings, possibly even 30-somethings, I think they would think the first Friday the 13th is boring. That's my assumption. Rooster says you were just making a counter argument. It's all opinion. That's true, but I don't like the idea of pissing people off. I mean, admittedly, I didn't do anything wrong. I was just like, okay, we're having a discussion. He brings something to the table, and I'm like, well, that'd be great. The only thing is, with a generator, you need gas. And, the last week or so, it's, I'll just leave it at that. Matt says, do young people exist? I only see old people. Well, the young people are probably mostly inside on the internet. Gary Page says, bastards. I don't know who he's referring to. Oh, maybe the young people that might not like the original Friday the 13th. Matt says, I've been researching alternative fuels like ethanol and hydrogen. You can make your own hydrogen fuel, actually. Hydrogen is found in all water. Okay. Yeah, like I say, it's just a bummer that mankind was hijacked into a situation where we've all become dependent on these huge companies supplying things like energy, gas, so many things that we rely on. And we just think they're going to be there forever, and I think what we might find out this year and years to come is that it's not, you know. Matt says I should probably download all of this info I find in case they cut the power. Yeah, you should print it out on paper, probably. Rooster says my brother gifted me the Friday the 13th Part 2 Steelbook. Well, that's nice. I've seen it in stores and stuff, and I can't do it. I can't get it because of that Roman numeral 2. It's incorrect. I've got the poster right here in this studio, and while it doesn't have the outline with the guy holding the axe, it's got the Friday the 13th Part 2, and the Roman numeral is just as thick as the rest of the title, Friday the 13th Part. It's not some skinny little anorexic teenage chick like it is on the steelbook. I'd get the steelbook, but I can't. That the cover just bugs me. But I'm glad you were gifted it. Well, money saved, so not too shabby. Rooster says now I gotta buy Part 1 steelbook. Yeah, I'd get that while you still can. That one, unlike the second one, actually has a cover that's great. Gary says, what's this free energy thing they try to keep a secret? I don't know. It's a secret. Matt says, most likely a lie. Nothing in this world is free. No energy is free. All energy requires some type of work to get. Rooster says, yeah, it's annoying, but free, laugh out loud. I wouldn't buy it personally. Oh, okay. He's talking about the part 2 steelbook. Yeah, I just, I've seen it in the stores, but luckily, well, or on for well, anyway. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't get it. I guess it's kind of a good thing in a way that it's screwed up. How many freaking, discs do I need to buy of these movies? If the cover for the third movie, if they do it next year, if next year exists, if there's any, there might not, steel might be so high price that the steel book is going to cost $100, but if they do a part 3 one next year and it's okay, I'll probably get that. Gary says, I wish I had the steelbook for part 1 and 2. Though you can't get it in the UK. Well, yeah, I gotta admit, I did a review on it last year. The first steelbook for the first movie is great. I mean, it's one of my favorite posters ever. And it's the first time in North America they actually put the poster on a release for that movie since 1999, I think, when the first DVD came out. So it's just like a revelation, the first steelbook for the first movie. Oh, looks like Austin's still with us. He says, I did recently get the Criterion Blu-ray of Silence of the Lambs, and it looks pretty amazing. I think you mentioned that last week. That's good to hear. Not a big fan of the movie myself, but I'm glad to hear it for any fans of the movie. Matt says, have you ever seen the Flick Pick YouTuber? John Flickinger? Anyone watch him here? He's all about getting steelbooks and getting Blu-rays for his vlogs, laugh out loud. No, I can't say I'm familiar with that individual's channel. Rooster says, I will definitely pick up 3. I love the artwork for 3. Yeah, we can only assume they're going to put the poster, hopefully, on it. But every time I look at the cover, I wish that would have happened in the movie where, when she was taking a shower, Jason would have, jammed the machete through the shower curtain, and killed her in the shower, because it's kind of that would have been a cool kill. It's kind of misleading on the poster art, isn't it? Austin says, I did manage to get Piranha Scream Factory Steelbook, which went out of print recently. Okay. Oh, for the record, I figured I better get the DVD before it goes out of print of, what's it called? Forbidden World. So I got that coming, because the both of the Blu-rays are like out of print, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm not willing to pay a lot of money for either of the Blu-rays, so I just got the DVD for like $13 or $14. I figure I should own Forbidden World on some disc, and I'm sure the DVD will upscale fine. I've got the DVD of that one with Robert Englund in it, that Roger Corman movie. I can't think of it right now. Galaxy of Terror. Matt says he does movie reviews and stuff. Okay, he's referring to John Flickinger. Okay, thanks for the heads up. He's been in quite a few videos with that movie reviewer Chris Stuckman. Yeah, I'm not really big on big YouTube channels. I feel like they're kind of impersonal and just almost too corporate. I don't really watch stuff that YouTube channels that are too big. But that's just me. I just like people with, under 1,000 subscribers, like myself. Rooster says, does Barnes and Noble run a Criterion sale in the summer? They generally do. Matt says, not a huge fan of the Chris Stuckman dude, but John Flickinger made a few cool videos with them. Okay. Gary says, wrong term remake, good or bad? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it. Austin says, I did get Forbidden World Steelbook as well. Okay. Matt says, did you see those morons filling up gas with plastic bags? No, I didn't. Holy shit. Sounds like people who live on their phones would do. Oh my god. Paper bags coming next. Rooster says, big YouTube channels always run 100 ads. Yeah, that's another thing that I don't want to do is watch ads. The guy who shows up on the show sometimes, Mr. Tight White, has got ads. I'm like, yeah, I ain't gonna watch ads. Where were these morons filling up gas with plastic bags? On YouTube? Rooster says, oh, I already said that. Austin says, Nate, have you ever seen Michael Mann's Manhunter from '86? I don't think so. Austin says, wrong turn 1 and 2 are good. The rest feel like direct-to-video schlock, but that's not a bad thing either. That's a good point. Matt says in response to people filling up plastic bags with gas all over the country. So you saw it in like real life, real worlds in your neighborhood, you mean? He says quite a few places have video of morons filling gas up with plastic bags. Yeah, gas this year is like toilet paper last year. Only thing about gas is it's a little more necessary than toilet paper, unfortunately. Oh, Matt says not in real life, but on video. Okay. Yeah, I can't say I've seen that, but I don't doubt it. Austin says people were doing the same thing with toilet paper. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I don't know if you wrote that before I said my thing about it, but yeah. Toilet paper I can live without. All right, everyone. I'd say 30 minutes of show left. If you're not depressed enough, maybe we'll get everyone depressed in the next 30 minutes. Matt says, you know how much gas is going to go bad and people complaining in months to come about their car not running right because they aren't storing the gas right. And gas goes bad now in days quick, not a long shelf life at all. Matt says, I might start lowballing these plastic gas people for cheaper gas. Ha ha ha. Yeah, might be something to consider. Well, I'm glad to see we didn't piss Austin off too much. So I think what I'll do to lighten up the day today after the show is I'll upload the first little drive-in goofy clip for your viewing enjoyment of horizontal child being carried over, I can only assume his older sister's shoulder. Rooster says, Nate, you're supposed to be the antidepressant. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I'm trying, but when the antidepressant gets depressed, there's not much hope. Matt says, pimping his kid out, ha ha ha. It's possible. Maybe I was gonna name that video child trafficking at the drive-in, but I thought that at the drive-in theater, I thought that title might get the video in trouble. So I think I'll call it horizontal child at the drive-in theater. Yeah. Can you imagine having your daughter pimp out her younger brother at the drive-in theater before it's even dark? Just carry him from car to car. That's just gross. Rooster says, "Wow, Nate, laugh out loud." Probably about, I don't know what about. I said a lot of things. Maybe my initial title for see the funny thing about that title, child trafficking, is it wasn't so much about like she's trafficking. I don't know. It was more like, it's I don't the title wasn't meant to be in the sense of child trafficking. It's kind of like, I don't know, child transportation. It'd have like a double meaning. Oh, Summerhill Cinema 700's here. He says, good afternoon. Yeah, so I can only assume you won't mind, but if you listen to the beginning of the show, you will hear your little tune. I don't have it in front of me right now. Is it Haunted Mansion? I actually, if it's okay, opened the show with your tune, if that's okay. I figured it'd be okay. So that was a cool little tune there you shared. I appreciate you sharing that with us on your channel. And if it's okay, I might, for the next couple shows, want to start the show with that tune. That's kind of fun. It's easier than singing. Welcome, Summerhill. We probably got like just under 30 minutes of show left, having started at noon today. Yeah, changing the time, it probably confuses people, you know. But I think for the rest of possibly, I don't know, maybe just moving forward and maybe noon will be the start time. I don't know. But changing the start time might have confused some people. Even if I put the start time on the about page, people don't necessarily read the about page. Rooster says, as long as you didn't witness something like the beginning of Blood Rage, laugh out loud, we are good. Oh yeah, that's funny. Yeah, hatchet in the face at the drive-in, and the naked woman running around. Gary says, talking drive-ins, 20 have popped up in the UK due to you know what. Didn't even know we had any, laugh out loud. See, that's one of the good things about last year. There are several good things that happened because of it. I have to say, I mean, I've been saving a lot of money. But drive-in theaters, the resurgence is one of the best things about what happened last year. So hopefully you can check one out. Gary Page being in the UK, Summerhill says, wow, thanks for that. Yeah, don't mention it. I thought it was kind of since this show is kind of always geared, we're kind of horror heads, horror film movie people. I figured that was kind of an appropriate tune to open the show with. I don't know what the quality sounded like. I just played it on a little speaker in front of the microphone, but I also let people know that where they can go hear the thing for real at Summerhill Cinema 700 channel on YouTube. Rooster says, that was good tune, Summerhill. Well done. Summerhill says, I have another one I am going to put up soon that is kind of a John Carpenter style theme. Okay. Sounds like I might have several to choose from if I can borrow them to start the show with. Yeah, that tune definitely invokes just like, I don't know, gothic graveyard feeling or something, like just a spook, spooktacular horror fest vibe. So, Gary, do you have plans at trying out a drive-in? Summerhill says, I might have to sue you, Nate. Oh, no. Rooster says, ha, 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 ha. Matt says, oh my God, Nate, you played copyrighted music. Austin says, Nate, have you gotten that new King Kong Scream Factory Blu-ray? No, I haven't. I kind of don't want to pay $28 for it. I'm hoping that it goes down in price, but I guess if it doesn't, I'll have to pay $28 for it. I don't know. It's not like I'm the biggest fan of that movie. I don't know. It's funny how like I talked about someone's got to put King Kong 76 on Blu-ray, and then when they do it, it's like I'm too cheap to buy it. But come on, like these prices, you don't need to charge $28 for a fucking Blu-ray of a movie that's 44 years old. Oh shit, Gary Page says, ha ha ha, don't have a car. Well, I guess that scraps drive-in movie plans. Shit. Okay. You have to meet someone who does, I guess. Shit. Austin says the Dead Zone and House of Wax are getting collector's edition Blu-ray. Yeah, I saw the Dead Zone is. We just saw that again recently. Not the biggest fan of it. It's kind of depressing, so I don't feel the need for a Dead Zone Blu-ray. But House of Wax, is that the what the hell's her name? Paris Hilton one? Yeah, I can't say I've ever seen that or really ever need to. Austin says I'm going to get Event Horizon next month. Okay, yeah, because Scream Factory put that out recently. Gary says they could they bring a standard Blu-ray edition out of King Kong? Oh, like a non-collector's edition or something. Yeah, I guess I have to just yeah. I mean, it's all about money at the end of the day. If they can milk people for $28 and people will pay, I guess that's what they want to do. Summerhill says I'm looking forward to picking up the King Kong release. Now, Summerhill, have you not seen that movie at all? Austin says Scream Factory's prices suck these days. I agree, but beggars can't be choosers, though. Yeah, plus, you're better off paying 28 than like 40 or 50 when it's out of print, I guess, if you look at it that way. I'm going to just probably wait a week or two and see if it goes down. And I don't know. If it doesn't, then I'll probably just get it. And Matt says I'm going to head out. See you later. All right. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for all your thoughts this week. Thanks for showing up. Rooster says Charles Bronson is in the old House of Wax. Is he in the one with is that the one with I can't remember his name though. Vincent Price? I've got the 3D Blu-ray of that one. Yeah, Rooster says Charles Bronson is in the old House of Wax. Which one are we talking about? I think he was talking about the Paris Hilton one because Scream Factory would never release a Warner Brothers movie, or at least not they wouldn't do it now. Austin says Scream Factory never does standard Blu-rays if it already has a collector's edition. Austin says sometimes 70 to 99 bucks on some out-of-print Scream Factory titles if you want it complete. God. Summerhill says, I watched it on TV when I was about 5 or 6. Haven't seen it since then. Okay. Wade Wilson's here. I don't know, he does some, I think it's a couple piece, emojis with a smiley face and a piece. Yeah, I'm afraid we've only got like 19 minutes of show left, Wade, but since our start time has been changed to noon, I'm afraid, but hopefully you can have fun for 19 minutes worth, 18 now. Rooster says, yes, him and Price. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I remember reading that. A very young Charles Bronson. Wade says, what is that smiley? Is that a wave or middle finger? Austin says, I need to watch the Vincent Price version of Pit in the Pendulum. Wade says, noon, not 1 p.m. anymore. Oh, noon your time. I forgot you're from Minnesota. Yeah, every week, like, late Wednesday or early Thursday, if you take a look at my About page, I let everyone know when the show's going to start for that particular week. Just a heads up. Because of the warmer weather, I started the shows earlier so I can still get out and enjoy the weather after the show. So it might be noon moving forward. Yeah, the time change it's inevitable that it's going to screw people up. I would think anyone who's subscribed would get a notification when I schedule the show for noon. Sure, now everyone's showing up in the last 15 minutes of the show. Austin says, I saw Manhunter Scream Factory with Slip on eBay yesterday and they wanted $100 for it. It's vile. Oh my god. Rooster says, I hate how people buy Blu-rays just to jack the price up and sell them when they're out of print. They aren't even a fan of the movie. Yeah. Well, that's unfortunately the world they've created for us is, dollar over everything else. It's just a goddamn joke. Austin says, so 12 p.m. on Thursdays for now on. I mean, probably. Like I say, the best thing to do is late Wednesday, early Thursday is to check the About page, and that'll let everyone know when the start time is. It's kind of always been as recently it started being a week to week situation. Wade says the prices of DVDs, Laserdiscs, and Blu-rays is outrageous for certain movies. Wade says 12 p.m. Central Time. Yes, 12 p.m. Central. High noon Central. Austin says that's why I'm snagging these Scream Factory steelbooks recently because they just go up too much. Yeah, I guess I kind of understand, the point of just paying the full price when they come out versus paying it when people are asking $100. I guess that's one way to look at it. Rooster says, I usually don't buy if I'm not a fan or think I'm going to like it. Yeah, I mean, I got to factor things in like how often do I watch the DVD of 76 King Kong and all these kind of things, but it's a release I should probably have. Austin says sometimes the steelbooks are the only way to get the 4K scans. Yeah, in the case of the more recent Scream Factory releases. I don't really like that practice. Wade says, "Are you a fan of the Minnesota Vikings? My team beat your team in the playoffs and won the Super Bowl." Yeah, I'm not a fan of sports at all, I'm afraid. So, congrats for your win. Austin says, Iron Rooster, I learned to become a fan. Wait, I learned to become a fan if I decide to pay a high price for blind buy. Laugh out loud. Rooster says, the only bad thing about steelbooks is I always get dented ones for some damn reason. Yeah, that's a bummer about buying them like online if you can't examine it in person before you get it, Austin. But I think with dented steelbooks are going to be soon be the least of our problems. Austin says King Kong 76 is worth it for both versions of the film as well. That's true. That's why I'll probably just bite the bullet and get it. Rooster says, I hear you, Austin. Haha. Gary Page or scratched steelbook. Yeah, that's probably why, the more I think about it, probably why the turnout was so low in the first hour of the show, because everyone is so used to the 1 p.m. start time. I should probably do a video, a quick video where I say noon. I just, every week I try to say, look at the about page. And like I say, anyone who's subscribed should get a notification when I schedule the show. But that's probably why the turnout was so low for the first hour of the show, because everyone thinks I'm starting at 1 p.m. still. I tell you, there's always something. Austin says, Iron Rooster weird, I never get them dented. Rooster says, I have bad luck, I guess. So why don't we just say, since I got everyone here, that in fact, let's just plan on the start time being noon, aka 12 p.m. Central, for pretty much the summer. And like I say, it's important though that you check out the about page late Wednesday or early Thursday, because into the warm months, if there's a boating day or something on a Thursday, I'm just going to cancel altogether. So please, I'd hate to have someone, I don't know, plan their day. I don't know if anyone does that, plan their day around the show. But the About page is a good resource to keep informed on what the plan for the show is. Because I would suspect if there's amazing weather boating Thursday days, the show's just going to not happen that week. Wade says, I remembered the show earlier, but I was busy. And then when I got everything done, I forgot about the show. Okay, well, things happen too. Life can't revolve around this show. All right, everyone. I'd say T-minus 10 minutes and counting to the end. As always, my eyes are looking at chat for 2 hours isn't the most fun thing in the world. Just got to stop looking at the screen. I guess I don't have to stare at it the whole time. I can just look away and then look at it every now and then. Anyway, this show was kind of a more serious show as we've had in the past. But with things going on, if people that, whatever you want to call it, people in the who are awake to what's going on, they show up and they want to talk about it and vent and share their thoughts about what's going on. I mean, I'm not going to deny them that. And Wade says maybe you should start streaming on Discord so people can call in. I mean, that might be an option. The thing about YouTube is I know how it works, and if I had to try something else, I gotta learn something completely new. And another thing about the call-in stuff is I guess something I like about just reading the chat is that, I don't know, everyone gets like a fair equal representation, whereas if someone calls in, then it's like, well, how long do you let them call? And or is everyone talking at the same time, or how does it work? But I mean, I guess I kind of like what I got going on just at YouTube and just reading chat. Well, as I also complain about reading chat. Yeah, I mean, it's just a once a week thing for a couple hours. I don't put too much thought into it. I'm sure there's other options that can be done. Thanks for the recommendation. Gary says, Nate, you can play us out with a cinema trailer voice. That's true. Yeah, the guy I was trying to do in my trailer voices was the classic guy from the 70s. Like he did Jaws and all the way into the 90s. I can remember he did, Jaws. The only ones I really can know he did is like Jaws and Alien 3. But he did a whole lot of trailers. That guy to me is just the trailer voice of them all, and I think I can do them kind of good. Wade says also I'm shy and text is easier for me. Yeah, see, I think that just text is good because everyone gets fair representation, and also for the people that are shy, it's good too. So I think I'm fine with just the eBay, or not eBay, YouTube way of doing it, just with reading chat. The only problem is I have to try to learn to not just stare at the screen the whole time and maybe just glance at it to read. Wade says I wouldn't call in, and if I did, I would be nervous. See, I think just doing the chat show and having people do the chat is fine. Wade says I've called into shows before and was super nervous. Yeah, I think chat works fine. Austin says I'd like to see a steelbook of John Carpenter's Vampires. That'd be a good one. Is, like, in my opinion, last actual good movie. Gary says I think he was on the go-to guy for trailers. Yeah, I think so. I don't know his name. I'm sure his name could be found out. Rooster says eBay, laugh out loud. I know what's on your mind. Yeah, I confuse eBay and YouTube because they're both like two syllables, you know? I do that all. I've noticed when I listen to shows back, I say things that are wrong, and because it's just like I say the wrong things sometimes. Like last week, I said I'm talking about some guy, Richard Lynch, and one time I said David Lynch, and so a lot of times I'll say things that wrong that I don't even know I'm saying wrong because it's just a moment to moment, you know. When you're not editing and playing it back, you can't cut out your screw ups. Austin says, I'm tempted to get the Pumpkinhead Steelbook for the 4K scan. Okay. Rooster says, are you eyeing all those out of print Shout Factory Steelbooks, Nate? No. Rooster says, you just have to pay an arm or a leg. That's all. Austin says, I get a feeling Scream Factory might actually release UHD discs for all their titles. Laugh out loud. Hopefully not. Yeah, sure. First they do the 4K Blu-rays, and then they'll, just like with Blue Underground, then they'll put them all out on UHD. Of course, I don't really plan to ever buy UHD, so it doesn't really matter to me. My goal is to not. Anyway, trailer voices. So I modeled the trailer voice for the Unknown Critics off of the Jaws trailer. If anyone's seen the Jaws trailer, the thing goes, it's as if God created the devil and gave him Jaws. I modeled it after that, and then the Alien 3 one is here in a world where the sun burns cold and the wind blows colder. A visitor has come, but not by herself. And then they show a montage of this and that and going on, alien action. The suspense is back. The terror is back. But most of all, the bitch is back. Alien 3. Those are pretty much the only two that I know. But I love that guy's trailer voice. He's like the trailer voice guy for me. I didn't, those weren't perfect because I was slouching in the chair. Oh, Christ. Well, welcome, C Snap. There's like 3 minutes left of the show. Sorry. God damn it. Everyone thinks I'm still starting at 1 p.m. Hey, C Snap. Welcome. I'm almost going to end the show. Austin says, let's see here. Blue Underground pisses me off for doing that. Yeah, me too. Rooster says, yeah, Austin, I was just messing with Nate since he accidentally said eBay. Austin says, UHD feels like a crash grab. I think it really is. Rooster says, you got a good movie trailer voice. Thank you very much. Those ones right there weren't perfect. I was kind of slouching. I could do better if I wanted to. Austin says, I'll get some UHD discs if there's no way to get 4K master of certain film I like. C-Snap says, oh, damn, okay, no worries. Yeah, I started the show pretty much probably for the rest of the summer, maybe just, I don't know. I started doing it at 12 Central. Sorry, man, my eyes are dead. I can't go any more than 2 hours. I feel bad for changing the start time. I probably should have never done that. Guess you can always listen to the just for the show back, just for the future. Start time noon, aka 12 p.m. Central Time, and for foreseeable future. C-Snap says, yeah, I'm in Ireland. It's 8 p.m. just home from work. Oh, okay, so you couldn't have started any sooner anyway. All right, everyone. I'd say about a minute of show left. Thanks for showing up. Admittedly, the first hour was kind of slow, but that's probably because everyone doesn't know I'm starting at noon versus 1 p.m. I should probably make a little video letting everyone know the new start time. It's not easy running a huge channel with nearly 500 subscribers. All right, Wade Wilson does a funny emoji. C-Snap says, later, guys. Until next Thursday. I guess we'll see you all next Thursday, starting at 12 p.m. Central Time. That's noon. Also. All right, everyone. Thanks for showing up. Remember, 12 p.m. Central Time every Thursday. Thanks a lot, everyone. See you next time.